sherry share thing.
Okay, babe. I'll be here waiting for you. Oh, I was going to pour that into my other cup. I forgot about that. Hello, all. How are you? It's Gussie, Doc, and my loving partner, Grim. Say hello, loving partner.
Hello, loving partner.
I really like your hat today, sir.
Well, thank you.
Are you feeling a little bit better today?
I am. It doesn't. My wing muscles don't hurt when I breathe.
Oh, yes. Well.
And that does make me happy.
Yes, me too, because it's not typical for you to have even one down day. So when that happens, it's really unusual around here, and you know, we all fervently pray that Grim improves, his health improves. But I'm glad you're feeling better.
I am feeling better. I'm sorry. I'm here, but I'm not here.
I know. I'm gonna, pour some tea. By the way, if y'all love, I'm sure you may have seen a few of these floating around, Witch's Brew tumblers. We have a Purple Door witch that makes these for us exclusively, and they're not too darn expensive. And I'll tell you what, you can probably see this is steaming right now. Maybe you can't see it steaming, but I have used this tumbler for hot and cold things, and it stays cold for hours, and it stays warm on the verge of almost being too hot to sip for hours. It's just wonderful. So if you're interested, let me know, and I'll let them know.
Ice cubes stay ice cubed for over 24 hours.
Yes, they'll still be. I'll put ice in my drink in the evening, like around, I do it usually before Pause for Peace at 9 p.m. And then the next morning when I wake up, there's still ice. So it's really wonderful. Witches supporting other witches, right? A portion of the proceeds would go to supporting the Purple Door, indeed. But, oh no, I'm going to sneeze. I had a sneezing fit right before y'all joined us. So, pardon me. Oh, I love this song. It's an old version of Ghost Riders in the Sky. I remember my band tried to play that in high school. That was interesting.
Yeah, this is like a 1940s or 30s.
I think 40s.
I don't even know I doubt they could hear it.
They probably can't, but if they could, hey, let's say hello to some folks while we're waiting for people to gather.
Okay.
Let's see, hello. This is, to some of our viewers out there, hello to Susan and Michelle. And, is that all I'm seeing here? I think that's all I'm seeing here.
You can scroll on that.
Oh my goodness, look at that weird, is that I don't like that, is that a filter?
What are you talking about?
Is that a filter on me that makes me look like I have really long eyelashes?
Does it make it look like you have really long eyelashes?
I think so.
Oh my lord, it does. Oh.
Woohoo! So, didn't know we could do that.
So, I think that's that button. No. Oh, wait.
Effects, maybe?
There we go. We can just go to.
Wait, what's that? Oh, wait. Oh, heavens, no. That's not the right one. What's this? I don't know what that is either. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, but how do I get out of just I just want me?
That's just you.
Oh, okay. That's me without funky eyelashes?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing against funky eyelashes. I like to have a little, smear of eyeliner because I've sneezed so many times,
I'm
That's my
surprised.
cosmetic secret.
I'm surprised you noticed that, but anyways.
Well, when I looked in your phone and I saw my eyelashes were like flapping, I thought, what the hell? What the hell is that? So,
So you can say hi to people there.
oh yes, okay. Hello to dear Dharma. Love you, Dharma. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Sylvie. Hi, Indigo Psychics. Love you too. Hello to Mishmash. What you got?
Do you know who that is?
I love that name, and I feel like I've said I love that name before.
Yes, but you don't have a clue.
I don't have a clue. Lily is renewed.
Think
Hello.
butterflies.
Oh, butterflies. Okay, now I got you. Sylvie's laughing. Me too. Lily is renewed. Do I know that person? I wonder. Do we know? Swipe right to view more comments. Okay. I don't know what the hell I'm doing on here.
Well, you had a topic for today. Now.
Well, we did, but we're still waiting for some folks to gather. I had a chance to chat with my sister, Reverend Patience, today, and she gave me a few tips on being on different social media platforms, and so I'm learning as I go. I'm really new on
Hi, Kimmy.
one platform over another, and so I feel like baby steps there for me. Baby steps, because I might forget what I've learned one day to the next. It's just, you never can tell. Yeah, Graham, so you still out there sending people things, or?
Just playing moderator for a second.
All right.
But I'm here.
Good.
I'm with you.
Good. Same
Actually,
here.
as you were talking, I was wondering something that I haven't put a lot of thought into before, and it's not part of the topic today, but I hope you don't mind touching on it.
I probably don't mind. You might be entering the lion's den, but go
Yes.
ahead, young man, go ahead.
The energy of solar flares. Now, I get solar activity plays a role on our physiological makeup.
Right.
Our
Woo!
spiritual,
Oh.
our physical, our emotional.
I'm so sorry about that.
But the aurora borealis, the effect of solar flares on our atmosphere, we know that we feel that as well through things like the Schumann resonance and whatnot. But
Right.
visually seeing the aurora borealis in parts of the country that you're not accustomed to, is there a vibrational component to that to be aware of?
Oh yes, I absolutely think so, because step this back a bit. Think back how we've been talking about how the very elements are our ancestors. I mean, we are created from the elements, and so when the solar flares hit and the aurora borealis occurs, I feel like it triggers a very primal part of ourselves, something that our ancestors looked up at in awe, and we still to this day look up at in awe. And it just, I don't know if it switches something on. I'd like to think that it does. Some probably, and I would say do consider the aurora borealis a time of portal energy. So from another aspect of spirituality, there's that.
To touch on that portal energy, does that mean that the portal of aurora borealis, which is typically in the northern extremes, when it stretches down into northern Indiana, let's say, does that mean that the portal has become accessible or seeable, viewable?
I think seeable, viewable.
It's always there?
I do think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that of most portals. Now, some are tied to numbers. Some are tied to occurrences. So let me backtrack on what I just said for a second there. I think that there is always the condition for the portal to exist. I don't think that it exists at all times. Although, You know, if we look at Einstein's theory on this, we would say that yes, actually, it is existing in all spaces at all times. So, I wasn't ready for this kind of an existential talk on
I know.
this, but it's riveting.
So the aurora borealis to you is a visual. We are capable of seeing that portal, which is always there to begin with.
Well, to me, the first thing that comes to mind isn't portal.
Okay.
When I see the aurora borealis, well, I guess it actually is. It's a portal back to my ancestors.
Okay.
It's a way of, you know, just like still to this day when I stand out under a full moon or even a crescent moon, even a dark moon, honestly, a moon, you know, I stand outside under the stars and I think, you know, these are the same stars and constellations and planets. That's the same sun, that's the same moon that, you know, my ancestors experienced when they looked up. And not to go, you know, waxing too poetic here, but I just think, I think that is it. Like yesterday, there were some beautiful pictures that people captured with just their cell phones. And certainly, and one of a younger witch that follows us reached out to me this morning and said it was like bucket list amazing to see the aurora borealis last night. So, you know, it's one of those moving.
So it is a very magical thing on multiple levels. Then.
I believe that it
You've got
is.
a question there too, and if we're going to go off onto this.
The question is, hey, does this second moon cause us any other issues? And thank you for someone giving. Oh, Pris, I love you, Pris. So glad you're here. Lily, hey, does this second moon cause us any other issues? Well, in theory, astrologically speaking, no. I mean, astrologically speaking, it isn't.
It's a ripple.
Yeah, it's a ripple out there. It's not like something that could be predicted and has been. Well, I know it has been, but it's not part of
the cosmic makeup of who you are.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That is a good way to put it.
And one of the reasons behind that is this second moon that's rotating around us temporarily right now is the cast off to a collision in the deepest of space that randomly projected this in our direction. So, does it have a spiritual or magical effect? Yes. Is it something that's felt by all? I don't think so, myself.
It is, it depends on how deeply you allow the energy to influence you, to be quite honest.
This is true.
I mean, some folks are like, nah, it has nothing to do with anything astrologically speaking, so, you know, it's not a true moon. Therefore, it's just basically a satellite.
A temporary satellite.
A temporary
yes.
satellite.
And it isn't really an anomaly either. It happens frequently.
Right. What makes this one different? Because it's actually visible?
No, social media has made us aware of it more than... I mean, when I say frequent, it happens quite often that a chunk of asteroid that gets broke off of a larger piece.
Until it breaks up enough that it falls to the Earth.
Or just gets cast off.
Gets cast back out.
We just happen to be part of its orbit while it's in that process.
Right. So...
Or it's part of our orbit.
On a magical level, yes, I think that if you were a witch inclined to work with double moon energy, I would very, very much research that deeply before you do.
If something significant happened on that day, something significant in your life happened on the day that you became aware of the second moon, maybe explore that.
Right. So there's magic to be had in all things that happen. I don't believe anything that's happening right now is just by chance. I think all of it has a magical purpose if you allow yourself to see it.
Second moon appeared
on your son's birthday. Yeah, that's incredible. And so for you, there's a big significance to that. I would be doing... oh my, yeah. see if you can find, and this is specifically for you, Dharma, see if you can find another time when a second moon appeared in the sky in like known humanity. Take a look. I don't know if there's anything, I haven't seen anything about that, but take a look around to see when that would have occurred and if it occurred. I should have looked into that myself, but
I know it is.
It has happened before.
It has happened before.
So go take a look. I think this has to do with a past life connection there, to be honest. So, get back to me when you figure out what that
Oh my God! You really
what
wanna
that
go,
time frame is.
You really want to go deep on this? You want to talk ancestral memory?
I guess I do.
There was a time that Earth had 2 moons.
Okay.
Space debris, so to speak,
Oh,
that was visible from Earth, played a role in the tidal pulls and ebbs of the oceans. That was so deep in our, we're talking
Like-
our earliest single-celled organism ancestors were harvested, were reared under a double moon.
you said harvested.
I know.
That was weird.
weird.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. I feel like I should have that poster over my shoulder. What is it that Mulder had?
The truth is out
The
there.
truth is out there. Anywho,
Harvested.
let's get focused on our card for today. For those of you that are new joining us here, Grim and I, well, mostly I, but Grim is here with me and has been all along. So,
But I've
I
been
just
camera
shy, but here he is. There he is. Anyways, we draw a card. Sometimes Grim reads, sometimes not. Sometimes both of us read. Sometimes just Grim reads. Sometimes just I read. But we generally pull a card for the group. This is kind of meant to carry forward because we do this very same card pull on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as long as our energy holds up, right? As soon as we start to feel like we're not up to par, we do not do this anymore because it's just not worth it. But when we're feeling good, and you're
We'll
mostly
harvest
feeling,
some cards.
we'll harvest some cards. Yeah, why did you say harvest?
I don't know. That really, I've been perseverating on it since. And somebody else said, I'm glad I'm not the only one that perked up when you said
Oh
cards.
man, that was weird.
Dawn Stein said that.
Okay, let's see. We have some hellos to say. Hello to, I said hello to Susan and Michelle. Hello, Carla. Hello, Mary Huey. Love you, girl. Hello, Lloyd.
Hello, Lloyd.
AKA Fire. Hello, Min. Hello, Aphod. Hello, Tammy. Good to see you. Hello, Terry. Always has been a desire for me.
Northern Lights.
Lloyd says, would love to see it if it even ever clears up out here. Yeah. We saw it once or twice at the condo
Real faint.
in PT, but real faint.
Real
Like
faint.
it wasn't anything like what some folks were seeing here yesterday.
Looking off towards Woodby Island,
Yeah, looking off toward,
if I remember correctly.
for me, yeah, it was off in that, it was off toward town, over town.
From our condo?
Yeah.
Which should be looking out over Woodby Island.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Aphod, you love this hat? My dear sister Angela Turley make this hat, and we sell them for her. So I will talk to her if you would like one. Absolutely. She says, can't wait to get one from you guys. We got you covered.
I was wearing, no, I don't have it on right now, but my gnome hat yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that a gnome hat?
It wasn't when I bought that for you off. This was like years ago. I actually bought it for myself originally. And this was pre-Temu and I mean, I don't even remember where I got it. It wasn't pre-Amazon, but it was and it came in a little plastic bag.
Yeah.
But I would never look for gnome hat. That's not my style. It would have been witch hat. But now there are a whole bunch of them. You know, he's talking about his little hat that comes to a little point like right here, and you could get them on...
all over now.
Yeah, you can get them all over, but they come in various colors. And they even come red with little white circles of varying sizes, like a mushroom hat.
Yeah. Like a mushroom. I associate it with a shroomer's hat or a woodsman hat.
Yeah. Well, it was funny when that guy asked you if you were in town for the gnome convention. I actually was at first, my bristles went up and I was ready to fight. Like, my husband is 6'2" and some, I don't remember how tall you are now, 6'2" and a couple of bumps.
I'm going to take credit for the half.
6'2" and a half.
That's right.
So, you know, a gnome he is not. However, a very tall gnome, as someone called you last year, the homie gnome.
The homie gnome.
When you wore your purple gnome
that's
hat.
right. I do have a gnome hat somewhere around here.
So maybe you are the guy he was referring to. Because you were wearing that hat for a while.
Yeah, but did I wear it on video announcing a gnome convention?
No, maybe you might have. I can see you out there working in the garden, trying to get the sidewalk to expose itself here at the old church. Grim has... I love this hat. It just won't fit on my hair. I've got too much of it. Nothing personal, babe.
No.
But it's a purple hat, and it's really cute. It goes off over into this like little point, and it's got little fall leaves and nuts and berries and things on it. It's cute. I mean, it wasn't something that he would ever have chosen for himself, but he decided one day to put it on and go outside, and there's a sidewalk that had not been touched in probably 30 years.
Oh, my God.
And so he was digging the dirt out to expose the sidewalk again, and he wore this purple hat. You love that hat. Where did it go?
I don't remember. I was just thinking about
I bet you
that.
Christine hid it so you won't wear it outside. Yo, I'll get you.
People were honking.
Yeah, that's a great hat.
That was a fun one.
It really is a fun hat. We have to find it. Anywho, today I want to pull a card for y'all. And
I just don't like being the center of attention. You know, maybe I hid the hat.
Maybe you hid the hat. Yeah. You're a storyteller. What do you mean you don't like to be the center of attention? You're a high priest. My goodness. All right, let me shuffle these cards. I've got the Dark Mansion Tarot deck out right at the moment. And stick around. I might draw a few cards for some extra folks at the end. I'm sure Grim will tell me. What we typically do is a hashtag, right? And today's hashtag would be...
Nomi homie.
No, something about a name, right?
Oh, yeah, we haven't even touched
We haven't even touched on our
we?
topic.
Holy
Not
crap.
yet. Not yet, but that's why I'm gonna trust that whatever card is guided to us today will have something to do with our topic of what's in a name. Grim and I decided today, there was a question that came up on the Purple Door about how does one select a witch name? What's the process in that? And the reason that question even came up is Dizzy Dupp, who may or may not be on here or not, I don't know. Dizzy is currently taking over the role of archivist, role keeper, essentially role keeper of who and what has been involved with our
Dupp evolution.
Our Dupp evolution, right. And so we've been talking about names recently, and how that name, Coven Dupp, came about is something that we've discussed quite a few times. And there's the card. I knew it would pop out eventually. But we wanted to talk about it because there's various directions we could go with this topic. As a matter of fact, I wish y'all had some tea as well and a couple hours to spare, because it really could take us several hours to discuss. I mean, we need to sit around and have a conversation about
What's in a name?
what's in a name. So many of us know we start off our world with a given birth name that our parents decide, or whoever's in charge of our naming at that time. Sometimes it's a grandparent, but usually the parents get to select the name, and sometimes it's a name that's been bestowed upon you, passed down generation from generation, and that in and of itself has its own magic. So don't discredit that, right?
Yeah.
But also, as we age through our on our spiritual path, I have noticed in my life that I have been, I almost want to call it like a different person. You know how when you look back on yourself, when you look back to being, 6 or 9 or 12, and it really is like you're watching a movie of someone else, right? You remember the moment, but it isn't like oh, I'm so sorry, I just triggered someone, and I want to apologize about that. I'm not talking about I'm really sorry about that. Wow. One moment. Obviously, someone out there was really triggered by, I think, the age that I said. And I understand not wanting to do shadow work when you're not expecting it.
The age that you said.
Yeah, I was naming ages. I said, look back on yourself.
I see.
And I named an age, and as soon as I named this one, I could almost feel like I shouldn't say it out loud. But Spirit guided me to say it anyways, and then as soon as I said it, I felt like this. It was both fear and rage.
I don't know. Okay, then that wasn't me, because that's not what I experienced in that moment.
What did you experience? I felt someone.
I know you had said something about sometimes it's a name that's handed down through generations, and that's magic in and of itself.
Right.
And that got me thinking about my given name, which is a variation in spelling, but not in enunciation of my father's name. We share the first 3 letters.
Oh, yeah, you do.
And that was done intentionally to kind of honor my dad, but still give me my own sovereignty, I guess, in a sense of the name. But I remember I was about 6 years old when I made that connection.
That's a cool fact right there. I've heard you tell me that before, but
Yeah.
I never looked at it from a magical point of view. But yeah, that's cool.
But it has played a magical role in my life, just in the concept that when I see my name spelt, almost every single time I think of my father. And I say his name in my mind every time. I can't,
That might be good or maybe not so good.
But to me, it's never a negative thing. It's never a bad thing. It's kind of a
connection.
Yeah, it's a connection. That's my pop.
And that is a good thing.
So that's why I say that's not the emotion that I experienced, the hurt or anger, rage, whatever it was. But it was about the age of 6 when I made that emotional connection to my name.
Do you know when you and I first met, which was technically over the phone?
Right.
Like old-fashioned phone.
Right.
I immediately knew how you spelled your name.
That's right.
I remember, because I don't think that the person that introduced us was spelling it that way.
No, most people don't.
Right, and so, but when I picked up that phone, I saw this flash in front of me, like a script handwriting of the name, of how you spelled your name, and I was just like, I was smitten right from the get-go. Oh my goodness, my goodness. But really, spiritual names have lots of different meaning to lots of different peoples. Sometimes when you join a coven, you take on a new additional name. And sometimes, traditionally, what happens in those situations is only the people in that coven know you by that name. It is considered a sacred name that you only use when you are in circle, or working alone on your in your own space, but always with your circle. Sometimes it's a name bestowed upon you by the high priestess, but oftentimes it is a name that you are allowed to select on your own.
Technically, not just allowed, encouraged.
Encouraged. If you would ever become a member of Covened Up, we encourage you to find your own name. We have a list of names, and once a name has been used in the past, if you will, we recognize the energy and the spirit of that person, and we do not use that name again. So,
regardless of the physical standing of the person still in
right,
the covenant.
right. Even if they're no longer actively involved with us, it's like we have a respectful list of names that we just don't.
Well, I hear somebody asking right now, though, but if it's a private name used only in circle, why does everybody use their DUP name publicly?
Because the DUP name isn't meant to be a completely sacred name. We wouldn't put it out there if it was meant to. The DUP name started because we were looking for a way to join together with friends online and in person that we're going to coven up together. That's where Covened Up comes from. And I'm losing my thought. What was I going to say? You asked me a question.
We publicly announce our coven names.
Right. But for some people, the DUP name has been a haven because they can use their DUP name and be sort of anonymous out there to the rest of the world. We have folks that are part of our community that are dentists and doctors and musicians and bus drivers and accountants and teachers and Reiki masters, and we have veterinarians, vet assistants. We have all kinds of folks that follow
the DUP tradition.
The DUP tradition, right. And where was I going with that now?
I don't know.
Damn, if I don't keep losing my train of thought. I keep hearing a lot of questions. So I feel like this is something we should have been. We should have been.
Chris says that she loves her magical DUP name.
Okay.
The anger that you felt was aphids, potentially.
Let's see. Somebody said shroomers, huh? Okay, high priest or a high priest. Yeah, well, a little of both most times. Let's see. Aphod said her daughter started crying. I could pick up on that, maybe. You'd be curious to know what your bestowed name on you would be. Well, we'd have to talk about that. And that's not something that I would announce here, but we can certainly talk about that. What we typically do if you become a DUP is you can suggest a name for yourself. And if it's already been a name that's been used and associated with another person, we encourage you to find another one.
Not encourage, it's necessary. We retire the name.
We retire that name. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Grim. No tiptoeing around that one. You're right. We do. We retire the name. And so, also we tend to encourage people not to take names like Raven or, that's a real common one, isn't it? Raven. What is another one? We don't get them much anymore, but for a while there.
They were the stereotypical media influenced naming systems.
Right. We ask you to look a little beyond that for yourself.
Yeah.
Each person that has a dup name, there's a meaning behind it for them. And it's not something that we, agree to lightly. And not all of them use their dup name comfortably, to be honest. So for some people, it's a haven because they can be, a true part of themselves online without really causing a disruption in their personal lives. And I know you know what I mean by that. But also, some folks just, don't share that they're a part of the coven. It really is up to each person. Now, can you, as a solitary witch, have your own witch name? Does it have to be bestowed upon you by someone? No, it does not. As a matter of fact, Grim knows this is true. I have a really long witch name. I have a really long witch name.
It's almost like your royalty with
Yes, let's roll out the carpet for the witch names. But it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's because you personally, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I can be told, I've never heard your entire string of witch name uttered out loud or seen written, so I can't say for sure.
That's on purpose.
I know.
Okay.
Which is part of this discussion, but you accept every evolution of yourself as part of who you are right now.
That's where I was headed with a while ago when I was referencing different ages.
Okay.
Each one of those ages, those moments in our lifetime this time around that we have had pivotal moments, as Mist would call it, core memory moments, that kind of imprint in there. And so when you think back on the snapshot of your life, that's often an image that will come up, that age. I have, at certain points of my development spiritually, adopted both a part of my actual name and also I've taken on a name gifted to me by a high priestess, and I've also rejected that name but it still lies there, it's in parentheses. And I also have one that came to me in a dream. So the one that appeared to me in a dream was really profound. And so I'll share just a bit of it with you so you can think to yourself, if this ever happens to you, don't just shrug it off as a mere dream. There might be something more to it. So there was a dream. I was heavily involved at that time in Druidic studies and was involved with a grove. And that's actually where I got the idea to recreate the guilds of the Purple Door, was from this Druid grove that no longer, sadly, is in existence in Michigan, but it was for a long time very influential in my life. And I have never necessarily been a very tree-ish person. I love trees, don't get me wrong, I have to live with trees around me, but I'm not too particularly picky, although I love to have a mix of deciduous and pine. Okay, so I guess I am a little picky. Coniferous and deciduous together. A little of too much is never, anyways, I like balance. Anyhow, I guess I wasn't at that time yet working with a lot of tree energy. Yes, plants, and that was my focus, but not trees. And so when I had asked in Circle that I would like to find my spiritual name, my gifted spiritual name,
Your witch name.
my witch name, I asked in an open circle, in private though. I remember the high priestess had asked us, asked for something in your heart or something like that, and that was what I wanted. I wanted to know my spiritual name. And we might have even been doing that on purpose, like maybe we were looking for our spiritual name, because I have done this with other groups that I've taught, so maybe that's what we're doing. I mean,
That could be.
I didn't come up with the idea, so bingo, just thank you, Patricia. even though I can't remember your last name anymore. Anywho, help me get back to what I was saying.
You were in circle, asking in your heart.
Oh, yes, yes. And like 2 nights later, oh no, I'll back up. I was out, all went out after this circle. We all went out for dinner and a drink afterwards. And I remember my friend turned to me and she said, I know your name is such and such, but I really feel like on the tip of my tongue, I want to call you something else all the time. And I knew right then and there that, she and I had known each other in a past life, but also it was a reaffirmation, a synchronicity, if you will, that I was on the right path of finding a spiritual name for myself. So this was back in the 90s, and it was right around this time of year, as a matter of fact, and I was gifted. It had just come out new. It was the book The Witching Hour by lovely, rest in peace, Anne Rice. And the characters in the book, I really loved the book, but I didn't start reading it right away. I had a dream about a tree. And I saw this tree in the distance. I still remember it because everything had like a blue tint to it. And even the tree was kind of glowing blue, which is interesting. But I could tell it wasn't a blue tree, but it looked like somebody had a filter on it, right? And so I'm walking toward this tree, and I've done this many times in meditation, so I wasn't thinking anything of it. And remember, I'm in the dream space here. I'm on the astral plane. I put my hand out to touch the tree, and I saw this circle forming, and then within that circle, I saw a handprint. And I knew that if I put my handprint on that tree, that I was joining energies with that tree. And sure enough, it was one of those kind of profound dreams that when you wake up the next day, you shake yourself and you say, wow, that was more than just a dream. And I knew what my spiritual name was. And then I started to read that book. And I found my name, my new spiritual name in that book. And it was about a young witch, like learning to open up to her powers. And that's basically what I was going through. The tree that I had touched in my dream was a rowan tree. Believe it or not, after I adopted that name Rowan as part of my spiritual name, I actually had it long enough to change the spelling of it on several occasions. It has gone through its own incarnations with me.
And each of the spellings, a different energy associated with the name.
Yep. I know some people might think it's kind of weird to change your name all the time, but I don't know. Mine is...
All the time? No. In pivotal moments in your life.
Thank you, babe.
To mark a new beginning.
Thank you, babe.
Rebirth.
I know to some people it seems like it's been frequently, because some people never touch their name. But I also have a portion of my spiritual name that even Grimm does not know. It is not written down. It is never spoken out loud. And it is something that only I share. And I was talking to someone earlier, and they said, well, I don't think I have that. I don't think I have a name like that kind of hanging out there, some kind of secret name. And I said, I don't know, you might. Think about it for a minute. And he goes, well, I do have a different name that I use, like when I'm meditating and talking to myself. And I'm like, you think that might be the name that you use?
This person that you were talking to.
I bet you can't guess who it was.
This gentleman, I'm assuming.
I bet you can't guess who it was.
50-something-ish gentleman that you were speaking to. the slightly receding hairline. Was that the guy?
Are you smudging?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I love that. I started to smell that. Yeah, I was kind of referring to you. But, I didn't want to.
I know. I feel you.
But you do have a different name that you employ when you. And some of your name I know, and some of your name I don't know.
That's I never really associated the name that when I'm talking to my higher self, the name that I use in that moment, I never associated it as a witch name. To me, it's always been a name that I identified with a past life type scenario, but not quite past life.
I'll say that some of my past lives that have been where I've been a healer or a witch, if you will. I do use some of those names in my witchy name.
Right.
Because to me, they have power. They have knowledge.
They're a vibration of who you are.
They're a vibration, even though they're not a vibration of me in this lifetime. They are, because they're a part of who I am as a collective unit.
It's because
back home.
The name that you had, Rowan, when I first met you. The moment I heard your name, I knew immediately. The moment I knew immediately, that's my wife. That's my soulmate. That's my twin flame. That's my other half. That's my goddess. That's my, I don't care what, as long as she's in my life. I knew the moment I heard that name. But now when I hear that name spoken out loud, it has a completely different energetic vibration to me now.
I was a different woman.
Yeah.
I was very different. I was a very different woman. For all my strength and I've been a witch on my path for a very long time. So even in my early 20s, I've always been a strong-willed woman, and I've always kind of marched to my own drum. But that doesn't mean that I haven't had some real major broken bits, too. I mean, some of my shadows have been, we often joke about Grimm being difficult to navigate, mercurially, kind of up and down, but really, I was that way, too. And I feel like I look back on that part of myself, that magical woman named Rowan, who, attended Circle. And that name wasn't out and about in the public right at first. That was a secretive name that I used in Circle until that Circle dissolved. But I kept the name, and when people would see me on the street from that Circle, they would say, "Is it all right if I still call you Rowan?" And, yes, it felt right to me. And so I'm not encouraging everybody to run out and start, get their own name. But if there's a name that has always felt like it resonated with you, like one that you just wish in some ways maybe your parents had called you by that name, or if you heard that name and you thought it was the most beautiful name in the world, consider perhaps those are little signals from your higher self saying, "Hey, listen, you've been this name before, adopt it, own it." Or, you love this name from the past because one of your ancestors went by this name.
And names are magic. Names have power.
They're a vibrational frequency.
They're a vibrational frequency, and if you would like to see evidence of this, all I have to do is mention one name, and half of you will become enraged, if not more than half. While the other portion of you will become happy and elated.
Oh, I guess you weren't the name I heard when you said that? Now I hear a lot of folks out there wondering what you were going to say. I hear names like in the background. Shush, y'all, I can't think.
Can I guess? Were you thinking I was going to go Hitler?
No, not at all.
What were you thinking?
I can't remember now because I'm hearing all these folks. No, I'm not scolding. It's my own fault. I should have
put your condom on.
I should have put my condom on. Who did I think you were going to say? Repeat what you said.
I can say just one name and magically invoke anger or excitement.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say Jesus.
You know what's funny is I was originally thinking that when I was wondering, names have power and power is, and names become titles, and that's what got me thinking about Jesus Christ.
Because...
But to me, the anger and the passion that name invokes isn't an honest emotion.
Right.
For the most part, it is tainted and corrupted by the manipulation.
Yeah, but it still has vibration attached.
But it does. It truly does. So as I was intoning my statement about I can say one name, Trump came to mind because it's current. His name has currency today, emotional currency today.
Ugh, I just got socked in the gut. No, literally, I did. I felt like, ugh.
Yep. More so than any other politician that I can think of, at least in my lifetime, regardless of who his opponents are, his name does just what it did to your gut to a lot of people. And that is power, emotional currency.
Yeah, it is.
It's a swing.
I really don't want to talk politics here.
No. It's
and
not
I don't
meant to be.
appreciate getting slugged in the gut by...
Well, that's, put your condom on.
I know, but I wasn't expecting...
You were expecting Jesus Christ.
Well, because I wanted to tell you or talk with you about how a lot of folks don't really realize that the name Christ is not part of his name. Well, it is now, but it's actually a title bestowed. Mm-hmm. And there have been others that have had that title as well, just like the name Merlin. Grim and I were talking about this earlier. Merlin is, yes, of course, a first name. A lot of us have had friends or relatives by the name Merlin. But the Merlin as a descriptor, as a title to someone, was also very prevalent in our past. A Merlin was someone who had reached sort of an existential status, master level, if you will. And so, names...
Of adepts.
Master of.
Yeah.
Oh, my tummy.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe I should just do what I always tell folks. Take some deep breaths and ground myself. Lots of emotions have come around here. Some of us even have names that we've taken on in marriage. And I know I kept one of my last names because it meant a lot to my daughter, who's now, in her mid-20s, so she feels much differently about it. But names have a lot of power and a lot of meaning behind them. So
names have power.
Hashtag names have power. That's right. We haven't picked hashtag yet.
No. Well, normally just did.
We just did. If you want me to draw a card for you, just say hashtag names have power, and I'll pull a card for you. But I still have to read this card.
About which names?
Oh, it's the card The Lovers. Isn't that appropriate? Isn't that appropriate? Boy, that incense is... No, it's not incense. It's sage. It smells so good. The Lovers card. Now, how does this affect what we've been talking about? Does it have any connection whatsoever? And really, I think it does. Because, every aspect of ourselves that we come to know as those little camera snapshots that we were just talking about, those moments in our lives where we can look back and remember being a certain age. Hopefully that's a happy memory for you. That's what Grim and I would like to evoke, is a happy memory at those ages. But the important part is to look back and learn to love that little person as much as you possibly can, because the reason that some of that damage was caused is because you didn't understand at the time. You were too young to really get it, and no one really told you how it is that things really were. So you played the guessing game on your own, and I think that once you really learn to love yourself and embrace who you are, that little person on forward, I think that once you get to that point, I feel like finding a name that you can connect to in a place of power. That's what has happened with me every time. It's been a time that I have stepped forward into my power and saying, yes, I claim that past life. Yes, I claim this spiritual part of my path right now. I am ready to be wherever Gussie Duck takes me. Although we've been Gussie and Grim for a long time now.
I don't see that with
Us changing.
no, I don't really.
I know, me either.
It's interesting though, because as you were talking about the lovers, and you have to think about our shadows, loving our hurt selves as much as we love our successful selves,
Right.
our unbroken selves.
Yeah, even loving the parts of ourselves that need healing and are actually what you might consider an illness or a chronic
Yeah,
issue.
yeah,
Even loving the parts that we don't want to love.
and where that drives it home for me, and I think that is relevant to my witch name, that the world knows, is the realization that as much as I love you, I can only love you as much as I love myself.
Exactly.
And if I can't love all of myself, I can't love all of you.
Exactly.
Because of the balance.
Right.
So and it was through that process that the Gussie and Grim name became who we are. For me, it represents,
Stepping forward.
yeah, always stepping forward.
Right. Loving yourself enough to have the confidence to step forward. Me to read a card for them. Let me see. I don't know why folks are having problems. Have you? Chris says they were in such a void. Yes. I'm glad you're back. I've been in that void before, and it's a strange place to be, indeed. But always learning, aren't we? And it wasn't necessarily a bad place to be. It's just a different place to be. All right, this is a card for Pamela. Whoop! And I caught it with my legs. Very good. All right. Pamela, okay. The card that popped out for you is the Hanged Man. Only it's in the reverse position. Now, those of you that know about the tarot know that the Hanged Man doesn't necessarily mean like it's all over for you. Of being in love is so far removed from who you are that you may have forgotten a little bit about what that feels like. And over the next several months, I'm not predicting like, Mr. Right's going to walk through the door or anything like that. But I do feel like you have found yourself in a space where you love yourself enough now that if a Mr. Might be Right walked through the door, you wouldn't I want to say
oblivious to the sign.
That's right. I was going to say vibe in the opposite direction, because I feel like sometimes it's like, oh, hell no. I know that it could go either direction. I know that you're missing both having someone to count on and being someone to count on. And though you do it in your own way and you keep your balance in your home and you have such a wonderful son that you're raising and doing a fantastic job, I'm talking a deeper partnership. So over the next several months, I'm not predicting that he's going to or she is going to waltz through the door, but I'm saying be open to the possibility of that shift in your life. Not that you would even act on it necessarily. I'm not saying that. And it might just be another step or level up in loving yourself that I'm sensing. But it certainly feels like you are getting to a space where you would feel welcome to have that sort of support in your life again. That kind of true, trusted, deeply rooted friendship. Right? Okay. That's a good card. And then Serenity. Serenity, the Page of Swords in the reverse position. Show you my card. Again, this is the Dark Mansion Tarot. These are such cute little cards. I just think they're so cute. This is what it looks like in the upright. Okay, so the Page of Swords. You know, what I love about the suit of swords is that the way I kind of learned it is it can be both an obstacle as well as a blessing, right? Sometimes when I see a sword card pulled and it's a higher card number, like, 8 or 9, I know that whatever the issue the person is dealing with right now, it's very heavily weighing on their shoulders. So I pull this 2 of Swords card in the reverse. And to me, like right now, whatever is happening in your life, it's, it might be a little bumpy, but you for the most part have things under control. You for the most part are able to navigate what's going on. But I do have to caution you, since it's in the reverse, there's a bit of it that involves you not exactly being I'm going to say aware, but it's like you're purposely not looking.
Blinders.
You got some blinders on. Right. So things are going along smoothly because you're choosing not to look at everything. But that's okay right now, because I'm also being told that right now you got to do whatever you need to do to just get through some stuff. I wish I knew who you were a little more. I might know you, and I just don't know you on this platform. But, your name is very befitting. It feels like you need a little bit more serenity in your life for your own benefit. So write this card, make it truly that you are swimming along without a lot of bumps, because you're not compromising yourself, but because you're choosing. The choices that you're making are allowing you to row along rather smoothly right now. I hope that makes sense.
Pamela says Serenity is my daughter.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Lovely to see you, Serenity. I love your mom. Can't say enough good things about her. So I'm glad. I hope that card made sense to you. Looks like your family has some talking to do about something somewhere with someone. Do I have another one? Did I thought that somebody asked me for one. I thought Pris had asked me for one. I thought she had said hashtag, but I might be wrong. Okay. I've got 4 more cards that popped out, but I guess I don't have 4 more people. So that's okay.
Pamela said names have power. Did you get Pamela?
Yep, I did. Yep. Got Pamela.
Miss Mash, what you got?
Oh, I forgot about Miss Mosh. Okay, let me pull the card. I knew which card it was for you too when I saw it. It flipped over, and I was like, oh, I bet you I know who this card is for. Yep, it's the Devil card, Mitch. Ta-da. The Devil card. So, what are you looking at right now about yourself that you are trying to change? When you take a step back and you look at who you are as a being, and basically like what what vibe are you transmitting? Are you transmitting that vibe all the time or just some of the time? How much of that vibe is truly you, and how much of that vibe is because it's something you feel expected of you? And I'm not asking anything to do with us necessarily. I'm talking like your life. I think that this card is really poignant for you right now. I think it has been kind of a bumpy ride. It is time for a shift. It's time for you to step more into your power. And you know what?
She says I've got those thorns on right now.
It's okay to go a little dark. Don't worry, we won't let you go very far, right? That's why we're withstanding together, because in order to be, I feel, a decent witch at witching, you need to have a balance with both your light side and your darkness. You know, it's right now in this realm, one does not exist without the other, so they're sort of a package deal. And I know that you've really been working on lightening your load and really looking at your shadows. I think now it's time to be okay with the shadows that you have left over. It's okay to let them have a little power once in a while, because you need to recognize that darkness in yourself. It's not all about sunshine and roses, and we see you for who you are. We know that goodness deep down. We see it, we know it. And we're not going anywhere. Are we, Grim? That was a deep card. I hope that...
And Amy, I guess.
Oh, am I not surprised? The Queen of Swords card in the reverse position. This one is for Amy.
Hashtag shadow work.
Hashtag shadow work, right. This card is for Amy, Queen of Swords, and boy, does this card come up a lot right now. This Queen of Swords, you know, she is taking control, ma'am. This Queen of Swords is not letting chance take control. The Queen of Swords makes sure, and very poignantly, that she's in charge. And she does it gently, though, you got to understand. It's not chopping with the sword, it's guiding with the sword. It's using the sword as a way to disperse light, if that makes sense. So we don't go into this with like this big the Queen of Swords is very diplomatic, very resourceful.
Surgical.
Who said surgical?
I don't know. That just went.
That's the word that popped into your mind?
Yep.
That's a good word? She's careful. Right. So I think that you've been feeling a little out of sorts lately, so this card being in the reverse position makes complete sense. It's time to kind of get that disorder back under your control again, and out of the sort of, excuse me for using the mishmash, but out of the mishmash. I know that is Mishmash's name, but I couldn't resist. Get it out of the kind of quagmire, because I know you have kids and there's a lot of moving parts to your life, but I think you'll feel so much better when you get things more in to your liking, under your control. Not that you got to have an iron fist out there, but instead of compromising quite so much and giving over what you feel is important, you know, standing steadfast in your decisions and making sure that you... This seems to be a theme, doesn't it? Follow your own lead. Right. I love the Queen of Swords card. Anybody else? Nobody else? You want one? Thought I'd ask. Oh, it's too bad you... See, it's in the reverse position. Knight of Cups is what it would have been.
Yeah, that's what happens when the knight tips too many cups.
Yeah.
It's reversed.
This night is coming to a close. This 420-ish tea and tarot is
My dad
coming
used
to
to
a
have a
close.
baseball cap style hat.
Yeah?
Blue.
Yeah.
Navy blue. With this very cartoonish knight all beat up and disheveled and whatnot, cartoonish style, on a horse that's also just as beat up and bedraggled. Very caricature done drawing, but it
Right.
says in it, "Once a king, always a king, but damn, once a knight's once a knight's enough."
Oh! He's always got to bring that kind of humor here, doesn't he? I love you so much. The dog's not here to support me this time, though. Arr. Anyhow, I hope y'all have a really marvelous weekend. You deserve it. Take some time to take some you time somewhere, somehow. Spend some time alone in a garden or out in the forest.
Preferably, possibly at around 9 p.m. your time. You can call that your pause for peace time.
I already did that while you were outside, but it didn't hurt to come back. No, please, because I just asked you if you'd help me.
I know, that's why I thought that's a perfect segue.
Well, tell them a little bit about it, because there's some new folks here. Like, I don't know who Angela is over here. Hello, Angela.
Who else we got?
Lloyd.
Nathod? Okay.
Yep. So, pause for peace. Tell them about it, and then we'll call it a day.
9 p.m. your time, witches around the world. Take a moment just for yourself. Just for yourself to take a breath, find center, and a little bit of internal peace. Draw upon the neutral, peaceful energy of the universe, infuse yourself with it, and allow it to pass through and outward to those that cannot take the time for a moment of peace for themselves. Doesn't matter where you're at, 9 o'clock your time, pause for peace. And then go online and hashtag that for us. Let the world know that you took a moment for yourself to spread peace in your own way. Hashtag pause for peace.
Hashtag pause for peace. And anyway, so I would love a chance to talk to some of you during a private session. If you want to book a reading with me, it's really easy to do. You just text me and find me, and we accept PayPal and Cash App, and we're gonna soon have our website up and running again, but somebody's taking too long because she's got to have the perfect color, the perfect picture, but we're getting there. But anyways, if you need a reading and you'd like to reach out, please do. My rate is it's $75 for an hour-long reading, and I'll be honest, bring pencil and paper because it's usually over an hour. Usually folks like to take notes, and usually I give a little homework for you to follow up.
Recommend note-taking.
I recommend note-taking for your own spiritual follow-up, if you will. Anyhow, I hope you have a marvelous weekend. I know Grim does hope that too as well, right? Marvelous weekend. We have, tomorrow is Misk's birthday, and then Sunday is brunch here at the old church. And then we'll see you back here on Monday at 4:20-ish Tea and Tarot. Stay magical. All these little bells and buttons. And then that thing pops up. Okay, hello, goodbye. Stay magical.